everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today to the Ask Me Anything with MBALaunch On Demand Alumni webinar. My name is Melissa Graham, and I'm one of the program managers here at Forté, and I'm thrilled that you've decided to join us today. So before we get started, I'm going to share just a little bit about Forté and the work that we do. So we work really hard at fueling the future of business. We work to open doors and help you reimagine what you can achieve for your future in business. We do this through a powerful alliance of influential companies, leading undergraduate and graduate business schools, talented women, pioneering donors, allies. So all together, we help to empower you to change your career trajectory, your earning power, and ultimately your lives. And you being here today and being part of this webinar and listening, you become part of this amazing community of 125,000 plus rising. So what do we do here at Forté? Well, as I mentioned, we help to reimagine what's possible for your future, but also to help you accelerate your career. We do this through business education, through role models, MBA prep programs like the various flavors of MBA Launch, professional networks, leadership training. Forté shows you how to build skills, credibility, and the confidence to not only thrive as business leaders, but to ultimately change the status quo. And as some of you may or may not know, Forté is a nonprofit organization. So donations and the support that we receive through various avenues helps us to further and fund the diverse offerings that we have. As mentioned before, we could not do the work that we do without the support of our member schools. So here is a full list of our full-time MBA members. You can also find this list on our website. Ash, I see she already dropped the link to our member schools. So if you're interested in learning more about any of these schools, feel free to visit our website. And here's a list of our executive and professional MBA members. We're also excited to offer in-person and virtual MBA forums again this year. So these MBA forums are free to attend, and it offers you the ability to connect with admission reps from all sorts of leading business schools, to learn about the MBA advantage, and to hear from successful women who have been in your shoes, as well as expanding your network and lots of opportunities there to connect with others who are on the same path as you. These MBA fairs will take place in about 11 cities across the US and Canada, and then we'll have an event later in London. We will also have 4 virtual forums that will start running in September. You can learn more about our MBA forums. You can either scan the QR code or visit fortefoundation.org/forum, or click on the link that Ashley of these free events. Some other upcoming events that I'd like to share with you is our fall webinar series. These webinars are and they provide you with a wealth of information to help you along your journey to an MBA. So our next webinar is going to be on July 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is Mastering the Round 1 MBA Application Process. We'll have various schools that will sit on that panel, so be sure to register and attend. And then we'll have an August 6th webinar to get the most out of your Forté MBA forum. So action item: if you sign up for a free forum, don't also forget to sign up for this particular webinar, because it'll teach you how to get the most out of the forums. Now a little bit about what we're all here to talk about, our Forté MBA Launch On Demand program. So this is an online program, and it gives you a clear roadmap to help you kind of navigate the MBA application process at your own pace. So because it is asynchronous, you can get started as soon as you enroll. So once you enroll, you will have access to topics such as crafting your own story, resumes, interviews, and a whole lot more. The 2025 MBA Launch On Demand program is designed for those that are applying to a program this fall 2025, like in a couple months, through spring 2026. And so upon successful completion of the entire program, you would be eligible for fee waivers from our various participating Forté member schools, which is about 40 plus schools that offer fee waivers to eligible MBA launchers. So great return on investment there. If you have any questions about any of the programming that you've heard today, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email address is premba@fortefoundation.org. Now let me stop sharing. And get into what everybody is here for. So I have three amazing women who are going to share their stories with you about their experience with MBA Launch and how it's helped them, how it's gotten them to where they're at today. And feel free to ask questions. So if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A. There will be some time at the end that we will be addressing those questions. So definitely don't miss out on the opportunity to ask all your burning questions to these amazing women. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and have our panelists introduce themselves. So we'll go just by how I see you on my screen. So we'll go Ayushi, Leah, and Jocelyn. So I'll let you go first, Ayushi.
Sure. Thanks, Melissa. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to meet everyone. My name is Ayushi Agarwal. Just went through the whole application process. I'm joining Chicago booth this fall. Super excited for that. I am actually based out of Atlanta, currently enjoying much needed down and family time in India. And I was working as a program manager within the healthcare space and briefly within the consulting space. Just before I quit and getting ready to start the MBA after moving to Chicago this fall.
Amazing. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Ayushi, for the great intro, and thanks, Melissa, as well. My name is Leah, and honestly, my background goes across industries. And so, bachelor's in public health at Arizona State University, got an opportunity to work for the UN, doing consulting work. Went to the Harvard Kennedy School to get my master's in public policy. Incredible work working for, the state government, but also insulin accessibility in emerging markets. Learned a lot and then wanted to learn more about business. So went to McKinsey, spent 2 years there and wanted to see more results. And so came to Keurig, Dr. Pepper, and I've been here for just over 2 years. I've been one of their internal managers. Just left my job on Monday and super excited to transition to Cornell Johnson and excited to share as much as needed.
Hi everyone, my name is Jocelyn. I'm from Peru. Right now, I'm living in Paris. I just graduated from HEC Paris. I did the MBA launch in 2022. I have a background in finances and tech in beauty and also in financial services. But I wanted to do my MBA here in Paris because I want to transition to cosmetics. And here is like the main point to be. Right now, I just finished my MBA. I also did the exchange at NYU. So it has been a really interesting experience so far.
Amazing. All righty, let's dive right in. So this first question is for Ayushi and Leah. You guys just finished the program last year. Congratulations, 2024 MBA Launch On Demand program. But so since it's fresh on your mind, can you tell us how was it for you?
Yeah, maybe I can get us started. So it's funny because I was thinking about it today. Exactly about a year ago, I was actually on a desk racking my brain about how I'm going to score on my GMAT, worried that I was too late in giving my GMAT and getting started with applications. But I would have never thought I would have been in this position 1 year later talking to all of you. So it's definitely been, I don't want to call it an uphill climb, but it's definitely a difficult season. But I feel like throughout the process, I've learned a lot about myself. And I feel like at the end of the day, you really land where you belong. And I think that's my path to my MBA school as well. I definitely landed up with a lot of interviews lined up, which I'm extremely grateful for. Had multiple offers that I had to choose from, including multiple Forte fellowships offered as well. But now I'm excited to attend Chicago booth, and I'm really glad for the Forte On Demand MBA launch program as well, that we'll definitely talk about more throughout this process, because I think it gave me access to a very unique set of individuals, set of women, set of allies who are going through the same journey as us. And it honestly just felt like I wasn't the only one doing this. And I'm glad to see Leah, Jocelyn here with me as well. To know that, yeah, we've all come a long way from where we started.
Yeah, thanks, Ayushi, for that. The journey, it was tough. And it was tough at the beginning because I didn't know about Launch on Demand. And I remember just like making calls to friends, being like, okay, I'm thinking about the MBA, like, what do I do? And just like being strategic of like, okay, who am I reaching out to? Where did they go to the MBA, and do their profile match with mine? And when somebody was like, oh, check out Forte, check out MLT, check out Consortium, because I was on, I'm not American. I was just like, oh my God, okay. Consortium doesn't accept you if you're not a permanent resident or a citizen. And so then I'm like, okay, Forte is my best bet. Let's put in let's put in the best application and, join the launch on demand. And so it was tough initially. And then I got into the community, and then you had the Slack chats. People created a WhatsApp group where you could send questions. But even beyond that, I had connection points where, like, for example, in the different chats for the different schools, I could ask, like, where are you in the process? Like, hey, guys, I'm here. Any insights? And so what made it manageable was having people that I knew were going through the process and that could honestly share what I needed to get ready for, and learning early on that I needed to ask questions and ask for help. Because when I went into this, I was like, okay, well, maybe I just got to do this and then I'll be done. But no, you can't do it alone. And so as I continued on the journey, two things I learned was you can't do it alone. It's tough, and you got to ask for help. You don't know it all until you know. So ask questions. But yeah.
I love that. I love how Leah was just thinking, like, I'm just gonna do this program and be done with it. But there were so many other benefits, right? That came out of joining On Demand. I loved how both of y'all talked about the networking that kind of happened organically. And if you started kind of reaching out in the Slack channel, all the WhatsApp groups that were kind of created. We hear that every year, that they kind of start off in the Slack channel and then all these little groups kind of, piece off into WhatsApp. So I love that. I love that it was just a strong community for you, even though you were doing it on your own. And how you didn't feel like you were on your own, because you still had people to reach out to who either had done the process or further along in the process, or at the same point that you were doing On Demand, if they started around the same time. So I love to hear that. Even though it's asynchronous, it still gives you a component of a community. Love that. Okay, Jocelyn, now you finished On Demand in 2022, which has been a hot minute. So if you want to kind of like go back, like peek into like the crevices of your brain and think about what part, like if you can share an overview of like where you were before doing On Demand and kind of where you are now throughout that process.
Okay, so in 2022, I just got promoted, and it was like a really nice position, but it was very demanding. And I was also thinking about the MBA since before, but it was COVID, so there was a lot going on. And I didn't know exactly where to start because it's a very complex process. So a friend of mine recommended me with MBA Launch, and I think it helped me with two key points. First, to know what the whole process of an MBA it is, like what things you need to prepare, what's the order, what are the key things. In that gives you like a really good panorama of what you have to do. And also, another thing more important, I think it helped me to define what I was that I wanted from my MBA, like to define my purpose. It helps you to get to know you, like what do you really want? And this is key for you to choose the school that you want to go, to choose the program, to have the reasons why you want this program. and it just evolves in itself. Like it helps you to craft your stories to make sense for you. What do you want this school? I think that was the most valuable thing that Forte gave me. And also in the end, when you have all of these things so clear, you're able to communicate that to the schools that you're applying. So you're putting your effort with good use, and it can also help you to land some of the scholarships because it makes sense. So I think it was that. It helped me a lot to also to feel more confident in myself because I had a better notion of what I was doing. And most of us were working while applying to MBA, so it can be really stressful because you don't have so much time for applications and that. So you have to be super strategic. And I think the program it gives you that. It gives you to go back to it and see what you have to do and where do you have to focus in order to achieve your MBA.
I love that. It kind of helps, I think what you're like demystifying the process, right? Because a lot of us don't know what we don't know. And so this kind of helps to, put everything, all the ducks in a row. So, all the moving components, all the different pieces, so that it builds your confidence in the process. I love that. Okay, so this question is for everybody. What were some of the most impactful experiences that you've received from On Demand, or maybe things you learned about yourself or challenges you may have had and that they were made easy, or they kind of On Demand kind of helped you through the work, walk you through those challenges, anything along those lines?
I think maybe I can get started, Melissa. I think kind of echoing what Jocelyn was saying as well. As a program manager, my job was extremely busy, and I was also tackling multiple personal priorities at that time. And I think the reason the MBA Launch On Demand worked for me the best was because it offered me the flexibility to watch the videos or whenever I wanted to. I did a little bit of habit stacking where I would often watch the videos while cooking or while using the gym just because of my personal situation, and I still managed to get a lot out of it. I think one of the key things that have really stood out to me was one of the initial videos. I know that you spoke about crafting your story, Melissa, which was also super helpful, but there was another video which specifically talked about what every school is like. And it actually kind of talked about what might stand out about a particular school, what is unique about it. Like for Chicago Booth specifically, there's the Chicago method of teaching, etc., or the flexibility of curriculum versus case method in some other schools, etc. And I think that was foundational because the time I watched it, I was deciding which schools I'm really going to apply to based on where I stand. And I think that at that point, that information was tremendously helpful because it almost came from an unbiased side, because I believe the person who was presenting was from Forte. I don't remember clearly right now, but I do remember having slides that I took, screenshots of that I referred even in the future. And I think, of course, the fee waivers were honestly very helpful for me. If I'm being completely honest and candid with everyone, that was one of the first reasons I thought of pursuing this, because I was applying to a large number of schools and the math basically mapped. It just made sense for me. But I think looking back, I definitely came out with a lot more knowledge about the application process. And of course, the fee waivers, just to add on to it. But I'll pass it on to the others.
Yeah, definitely. When we talk about the fee waivers, but also I want to set fee waivers, but also like the sessions of beyond the school profile. As you said, school profile, like I remember initially I was just listening, and then I attended one of these, and we had former students telling us how they could, how they did it and what they could do differently. And one of the ladies said, actively listen, right? Because initially I was walking and listening. And then I realized that, oh, yeah, I remember the profiles, but I actually don't remember to what school it was tied to. And so then had to like create an Excel of like, okay, it's this session. We're talking about school A, B, C, D. This is how they teach. So think case method versus other methods. Like what do you need to highlight in what? But even before that, to Jocelyn's point of like, how do you craft your story? Because for me, it went back to what did I want to get out of this? Like, I had done strategy. I really wanted to do finance. And so what schools align really well with your future goals? And then go step by step through the training, literally implementing it as you go. That helped me a lot because like every stage you go, like every next stage is almost like the next stage you need to do in your application. And for me, one other thing that stood out was the recommendation letters. I thought it was initially I was scared because I'm like, oh my God, like who am I gonna ask for help? Because I was at McKinsey and I'm like, I worked for over 10 teams. Who do I reach out for help? But like they walked you through what profile will help with, your recommendation letter. When should you reach out? For busy professions, what lead time do you need to give them? Because that saved me a lot of headache. Like I remember one time I needed to submit something by I think it was 6 p.m. and I hadn't seen a recommendation letter in by 4 p.m. It was tough. And I remember making calls and like the administration person telling me like she's international, like she cannot access anything. But good enough, like 45 minutes before, she's like, I'm sorry, I've been trying, but my Wi-Fi has been off. And then she was able to submit. But again, in my mind, I'm like, if I even reached out a month later, that may not have been possible. But I gave her all the materials way ahead of time. And so, yes, she sent it late, but she had completed it like weeks ahead of time. And so I would take it seriously. I would get an accountability partner and I would actively go through it. But beyond the few waivers, the network has honestly stood out for me. I feel like almost everywhere I go, there is a Forte fellow. Like I've gone to conferences, I've gone to Cornell Johnson, I've been in New York. Like I was on an Evercore call last week, and right on the screen was somebody called AJ, but the person who was the Evercore employee was called JP, and I was supposed to refer to JP, but I called AJ because AJ is Forte, and AJ I've seen like 4 times before. And so the network is honestly invaluable. It's incredible.
Yes, as Leah mentioned, the network is actually very useful when you want to contact someone and to share things about your experience with the MBA. It's a very complicated process, and I think another key aspect is that all the videos help you to understand that this is not easy. Like, it's not that you go and you just pay and take some exams. No, like, there's a lot of resilience involved in the process with GMAT and all the exams, and then the essays. You're going to have maybe some rejections, maybe not. Like, every process is different for everybody, but I think the program helps you to normalize that, like to have a support that you're doing the best that you can, and you will get into the school that is suited for your dreams. And the key part of that is knowing you and what do you want. So I think that's one of the more important things.
I love that. I loved how each of you touched on various aspects of how it helped you, like the flexibility, being able to be international and do it on your own time, but still feeling like you have a community to go to and ask questions. And also I think it maybe was either Leah or Ayushi who said that like through the process she found out more about what she wanted in a school instead of just I'm gonna go to the X school or XY school, like figuring out like, oh, I need to pick a school that best fits me. Um, or that I fit, yeah, best fits me, not I fit them. Is yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What advice would you have for somebody who's considering whether or not this program is a good fit? So there might be some people on the webinar today who are maybe on the fence, kind of teetering, thinking about should I do MBA launch on demand? Should I not? Can I kind of do this on my own? What would you say to that person who's trying to figure out if it is worth the time and the money?
I can jump in. So 3 things come to mind, and one is ask questions. Like reach out to Melissa, reach out to us. At least I'm open. And if you're targeting a specific school, like almost every school has a Forte fellow. Ask them because it's through talking to people that you know the value add. Second is the cost benefit analysis. I think it was Ayesha who was like, the math was mathing. I looked at the cost of the program and literally looked at the resources I got, be it the waiver on the standardized tests, be it the mentorship we got from, I think it was Career Protocol and Angela Guido. Like those sessions are way more expensive if you try to get it on without the program. And so just that, the math made sense. And then go beyond that and think about Forte as not only a current organization helping you to get into the MBA, but the employers in the platform, the schools know Forte. Like literally, it's something where adding it to your name honestly elevates you. Like I want to say 10,000 steps, right? And so I looked at all that and like I remember being like, even though I don't get a financial fellowship, it makes sense. And then I got the financial fellowship. And I'm like, oh no, thank you, God. So long story short, ask questions, connect with many of us that have done it before, reach out to Melissa and Tim if you have specific questions, but also do your math, because to me, it made a million senses, if that's an English word.
Yeah, and I think just to Leah, you covered it beautifully. I think the only thing I'll add on to that is it's definitely an investment, but it's an investment in yourself. I think one of the things I understood, and I've done a master's degree in the US, so I thought the MBA application process would be similar to what it was for masters, and it's really not. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of networking. There are a lot of nuances in every application. Just because the essay prompt says something doesn't literally mean that you're answering to just that. So there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of reflection that goes behind it. So I think for me, investing into the program, I know I spoke about the fee waivers, but even outside of that, just investing into the program and really learning was very important. I think the advice that I would give is don't think about it as just something that's giving you fee waivers and you're going to have some videos playing in the background that you're not paying attention to because it's just a checklist item. I think there's a lot of really good information hidden in there. And I think for me, I realized that especially the schools that we all apply to, whether it's HEC or Cornell or Booth or any of the other schools, there is a million people applying to these schools. So what is going to make you stand out? It's some information that you might receive through one of these webinars or through one of these forums. So I think it's very important to really pay attention and grasp whatever you can through the process.
Yes, I think Leah and Ayushi have made a very good summary of what it is. The math is mathing, so and besides the fees, I think you will get a really good learning about yourself that is key before applying to an MBA. So I think yeah, it is a good investment.
One thing I want to add before you move on is I even forgot to mention about conferences. I think I've met you, Ayushi, at one of the conferences. I would not have known about the
Yes.
conferences. Yes. Yeah, because I remember, yeah, it was a lot of us. It was incredible. But like I wouldn't have known about the conferences had it not been through Forte, starting with the launch on demand. And so like, for example, like I'm in conversations with banks, like this tomorrow I'll be in Virginia with Harris Williams, right? And so like as I think about that, it all started with Forte. Like the coffee chats we already having, like it all started with Forte, the conferences and everything. And so take it seriously. It goes beyond just the application. It's literally part of your network for the rest of your life, if I may say.
I love that. So if you're thinking about getting on demand, remember you get out as much as you put in. So I think these ladies are amazing examples of strong women who didn't just play it in the background and just kind of click through the program, but actually invested time in themselves and, did put in the work to get to know themselves, get to know the business schools, and then had amazing, amazing outcomes. So while the carrot may be the fee waivers, there's a whole lot more benefits that come out of MBA launch and connecting to that 14 network. I love that. Okay, so let's say there's somebody who's going to enroll today or is maybe just enrolled, but because it's on demand, you've got to kind of be disciplined with yourself. what advice would you have for somebody who's either just enrolled, is going to enroll today or this weekend? Any advice for staying on track or making the most out of the experience?
I can go first. Like, use your schedule for studying and for preparation. Like, set it before, like, plan your week and have at the same time for you to keep that consistency. I think that's key. And also take a lot of notes because all the topics are related within each other. So you will see some content before and then after, so for you to make some continuity in them. But mostly you have to have a commitment with yourself, like you will do with the GMAT and with the essays, also to continue with the program.
Yeah, I think Jocelyn covered it beautifully. It's very important to make time. And I think it's really helpful because once you get access to the actual program, you can actually see the topics that are going to be covered in every video. And I think one of the things I did as I was even progressing through my own application process or crafting my story, resume, etc., I actually tried to align my timeline with the videos as well, which was very helpful because then I could actually get relevant information real time. Now, having said that, not everything's going to work out that way because there is an interview video and you probably won't have your interview before you complete the whole program itself. But I think there was still many segments that I was able to align. So I was able to time it really well. But I think it's very important, as Jocelyn said, or I said previously, if you're investing in yourself, you're putting money, you're putting time, make sure you make the most out of it as far as possible.
Yeah. And for me, three things come to mind. One is take notes. One thing, and this was feedback or advice I got on the earlier webinars. They said track it because you'll need it. And so I created an Excel spreadsheet, and every tab was like, I remember one tab being like schools, one tab being like story ideas, and then each tab almost like being every session. Because you'll be surprised how much you're going to reference everything you got in the sessions. Like many times I'm like, so and so said this, but like I don't remember where. And so I would take notes and take it seriously. Number two is this is like the nitty-gritties of the sessions, the GRE GMAT part. Take advantage of the training materials. It can get expensive, but also don't be afraid to take it as much as you need. I know at a certain point, I think you need to submit it to move on to getting a certification. Do it to get an understanding of where you are, but try both the GMAT GREs. Most schools are open to all, and then figure out where you're strong at and then lean in to even be stronger. But like I've met people who've taken it 5 times. I've taken it multiple times myself. And initially you'll think, oh, this is tough. It pays off, trust me. It pays off at the end. And then number 3 is get an accountability partner. In the chats, I tried to get an accountability partner, but I think it matriculated once it was in the WhatsApp group. And so literally having somebody that you ask, like, where are you at? What schools are you focusing on? Like the ladies I was speaking to in the earlier times, we ended up going to TAC together for a school visit. And then we started like, because I'm a 3 a.m. person, many times I would wake up at 3 a.m. to type my essays, and I would call her because she was more later. And so I would wake up at 3, wake her up at 5, and then we would type together before work starts. You need somebody that will remind you that you're investing in yourself. And if you're in Minnesota like me, in the winters, it's tough. And you need somebody to be on the call to remind you, hey, this is why you started. And so accountability partner, don't be scared to sit for the juries as much as you need and take notes because you'll need it as you continue.
I love that. Lots of great sound advice and scheduling. I can't remember which one of you said, and maybe all 3 of you touched it, but how important it is to put it on your schedule and make that appointment with yourself. So don't forget, you are worth it. So be sure to schedule that as a priority in your life and like put it as an appointment, an hour to do this webinar and, 30 minutes later to do some self-reflection. So, yeah, definitely you're worth it. You're worth investing in. So be sure to treat it that way and put it on your schedule as an appointment. Okay, great. So just thinking about kind of this whole process through on demand, kind of, finishing the program, maybe starting either doing an internship or looking for your next role or attending conferences like Leah and Ayushi mentioned. I think somebody went to Fast Track and then they both went to MBA conference. Were there any other, or maybe you can touch on those same things, unexpected benefits that came from participating in the program that you'd like to share? Maybe different avenues or opportunities that opened up because you connected into the community of Forte MBA Launch On Demand and Forte as a whole.
I think I can provide just two very different sides of this. I want to talk about some of the friendships I've built, all thanks to Forte over this past year. Not specifically through the on-demand only, but I know, Melissa, in the beginning, you spoke about the Forte MBA forums that happen across different cities. I attended one that happened in Atlanta sometime last year. And I remember meeting a lot of other women that are going through the same process. And one specific person stands out because I remember meeting her, talking to her at that forum. And about 9 months later, I met her at the Forte conference, and we kind of reconnected. And she told me where she's headed, and I told her where I'm headed, and we were just talking about it. It just felt like such a full circle moment. And I think in general, when you're in the same city attending these different sessions, you'll run into the same people. But as Leah said, you can always leverage those connections to actually, partner up in your journey whether it's accountability wise or just somebody who can empathize with you as you go through this whole journey. And from a professional standpoint, I actually want to talk about through the Forte On Demand, I've found out about other things that Forte does, whether that's the Forte MBA Forum or that is the Forte MBA conference. And this might sound like a big plug, but I think the Forte MBA conference was actually really helpful for me. So next year, whenever you are in our positions and you're ready to start your journey at your dream B school, I think the Forte MBA conference is extremely helpful, whether it's networking with companies in a very small group. As I said, just like thousands of people apply to these schools, thousands of people also apply to these companies. So actually going into a smaller group, whether it's attending panel sessions or just the career fair or having opportunities to do coffee chats even before recruiting has begun in a safe space. I got to ask a lot of my personal questions. I actually got to realize one of the career paths that's not for me, which I will not disclose publicly here. But it definitely gave me some clarity. So I think those were just some things. And the friendships, of course, are the many intangibles through this.
Awesome.
I can go.
Thank
In my case, besides helping me to have my story super clear, like I also found out about the Forte fellowships, and I really know a lot about Forte because of the program and the mission, so I was able to align myself with that. And I got admitted into the two top schools that I wanted, and in both I got the Forte fellowship. So that was really great. That was something that I wasn't expecting of the program, but it happened that way.
Yeah, and for me, three things again stand out. And so I know Ayushi and Jocelyn talked about the network. Like the three parts of the network, honestly, were incredible. Think about friendship. Like one of my additional accountability partner, I realized lives in Minneapolis, and we've been going for coffee chats for like as long as we know. And then like you meet with future employers, like be it at the conference, be it I attended Forte Fast Track, where like you met people that followed up and they're like, hey, like send me your resume here. Like, would you like to do this? And so like it's people that are now in my network professionally. And then you learn about the school's investment into Forte. And for me, that's what honestly drew me so much to Cornell. It's like, if you're a woman at Cornell, you, is it a woman or everybody, all the MBAs, like you are part of Forte. And so they make sure that you attend the major events. And so that stood out to me. And then the second part is learning. I learned a lot. I feel like Forte gave us a leg up into everything. like be it applications, be it the resources out there, be it recruitment, like think about even how you dress up, how you show up, how you present yourself. Like some of the things I wouldn't have known if it was not for Forte. And then part three is other organizations. And for this, I'm tapping through like similar nonprofits. And so think about, the Twigos of the world, the, Rombas of the world, like the Jumpstarts of the world, consortium. Those are chats that I'm part of because there is a Forte fellow somewhere who is also a part of those things and makes sure that I have access to all the resources that are running through the program. And so as you connect with people, you don't know what journeys they are coming from. And so get to know them and ask them what else they are part of and work together as a team. Yeah, one mantra of my life, which is honestly, everybody knows it. It's like if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And this is one of those where if you want to go far, you need people. Networking is a key part of the MBA program, and it starts here. And the Forte, launch on demand, but also the full foundation is preparing you to show up in the best way you can. So take advantage of it.
I love that. So many good benefits just outside of maybe the initial, like I said, ROI of fee waivers. Lots of connecting, Forte helping you along the way. And yes, I can't remember who said that, like Forte for life. They do. Forte is geared and set up to help you through all the process of this journey. So whether you're an undergrad, whether you're in pre-MBA, early career, thinking about an MBA, whether you're in that prep mode and wanting to start putting in B school applications, or whether you're in an MBA school, there's programming for that. Once you're done with an MBA program, helping you post MBA, helping you if you're considering sitting on a board or being a CEO one day. All those types of professional development and educational tools are part of Forte. And so that's why we always say like Forte for life, because we want to be with you throughout the entire part of your journey to make you as successful as you are, no matter where you are in the stream of your career and of your journey. Awesome. I also love the plug real quick, Ayushi, for MBA Forum. So if you have not signed up for the free in-person MBA Forums, 11 cities across the United States and Canada, do so right after this webinar. Find a city nearest you. If you're international and you're not able to travel, not a problem. We have virtual events that are also on there for you to register for. There's going to be 4 virtual ones starting in September. So definitely take advantage of those. And maybe you'll have kind of a story like Ayushi where she met somebody at an MBA forum and turns out they, kept their friendship going and they went to the MBA conference this past in Denver recently. So what an amazing story, and kind of really showcases how Forte is about helping you along the way and kind of giving you those networking opportunities as much as possible. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to the Q&A. So if you have any questions that you would like for any of our panelists, don't hesitate to drop them into the Q&A so we can go ahead and review them. Ashley, it looks like I see you've also been busy typing in the background, maybe answering some of these other ones as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this first question from Anonymous, who wants to know, since the on-demand program is an asynchronous course or program, how long did it take you to complete it? So it's going to vary, right? Because it's asynchronous. So I'd like to hear from each of you, like how long it took for you to get through the program.
I'm trying to jog my memory here because it's kind of hard to remember, but I think it at least took a couple of months, if I'm not wrong, to get through the whole thing. I know there were like multiple videos, and then I know we submit and then we wait for approval to move on to the next phase. So I want to say it at least took a month and a half, but I could be wrong. I don't know if Leah or Jocelyn remember.
It depends on how frequent you are, but yeah, it can take for a month to 2 months, maybe. Yeah.
I think I took the longest time. I think I took like 3 to 4. And for me, it was because it was important that I practiced after every section. And so like the section about like, oh, telling your story, I actually set time aside to think through it, to iterate, to call my friends and ask like, am I on the right track? Do you like from what you know about me, do you think I'm gonna thrive or am I lying to myself? Because sometimes other people have, better perspectives and more truer perspectives of us. And so that was one of the reasons why I took long. And I would still do it the same way because it gave me an opportunity to like, by the time I hit that stage of like submission, I had done a lot of introspection during the process.
I love that. So it is variable, depending on how much time you can commit per week, and how much time you're also taking for that kind of meditation, reflection portion of it. Where you may just, hear an hour webinar, but you may be like Leah and then be like, I'm going to make this whole spreadsheet from like this webinar that I heard, and I'm going to start documenting all these things and researching. So a lot of it also just depends on the participant. We say nothing shorter than 3 weeks because then you're not really getting the true benefit out of the program. But I feel, that 4 to 6, 12 week seems to be average for most people to complete the program. If you definitely have more time, if you're gonna enroll before the August 1st deadline, then and you don't plan on applying until maybe spring, then you've definitely got a whole lot more buffer time to kind of go through the program and assimilate it at a slower rate if you'd like. So it is entirely up to the participant, which is one of kind of the beautiful facets of on demand, is that it allows for that flexibility to fit it into your lifestyle and into your schedule. Okay. Next question. So this person had 2 questions. It looks like the first one we kind of answered about how long the program is. It is up to how the participant is going to assimilate it, whether it's 4 weeks or 12 weeks or 16 weeks, But the second question they had was, does the program involve one-on-one consultations and guidance through the journey of the application? Or what did y'all use as far as getting feedback from maybe like a resume or an essay or, doing your pitch? How did y'all handle that?
I can take it. For me, so through the program, I think, so we have a lot of resources in the program. And so you're going to learn about Career Protocol. You're going to learn about many other organizations that you could partner with. And I think each of those programs have a free consultation before you ever pay for a program. And so at a certain point, I used one of the free consultations. But I think for me, what I enjoyed most was leaning on my friends, at least since I had my first master's and I lived with MBA students during that time. They were already in my circle. And many times I'll just be like, hey, Mike, here is my resume. Can you please let me know what you think? Hey, Jamal, like, here's what, like, I got a lot of help from former MBAs. And even when I went to school webinars and stuff, like, I made sure that I reached out and I connected with students who were on the panel asking, what made you stand out? Could you please provide feedback? And so lean on people who've done it before, current students, alumni, but also the program has a lot of resources that have free consults.
Yeah, I think I don't think Leah, I should have spoken to you earlier. I did not leverage the free consultations, which I'm probably regretting now. Um, but I think apart from just meeting people at Forte, often we talk about a lot of the like just the application processes. I think what Leah said is really important to actually get feedback from people who've done it before. I was also in a unique situation where my husband just completed his first year of MBA. So all of his classmates were like my reviewers and my go-to people because they just went through the application process themselves. But even if that's not your case, there must be people in your network who've done their MBA recently or have applied recently, whether that's through LinkedIn. But I think more importantly, your friends, I actually got this advice even before I started my applications, that going to your friends is great for feedback, because the MBA application process is a lot about who you are, what you do, what you bring out, what are your strengths, etc., which a stranger cannot know. As much as I'd love to help you, I'd love to connect with each of you, I may not know about your strengths because I only know you for a week or whatever, right? Whereas your friends who might know you for many, many years. So I reached out to a lot of my friends. There are some colleges that have tell me like 25 facts about you, or, whatever, like 6 things about you, and make a presentation. So I think there's a lot of benefit in reaching out to people in your network who actually know you really well as well.
Yeah, for me the same. I didn't use any of the free consultations, but I was lucky enough that two of my best friends were also applying to MBA, and one of them was already accepted, so he had a bigger network for me to leverage into validate some of the things that I was preparing, and also I connected a lot with some of the alumni from my country, but that were in the schools that I wanted to go, so they also helped me along the process.
I love that each of you kind of used what you had available. So whether the on-demand MBA program has program partners, which are consultants, and they each offer a free, 15, 20 or 30-minute consultation. You're welcome to utilize those. If there's somebody in your network or at your job, that could be a great resource to just give you feedback on your resume or your essay. Or there's also the network of Slack too, to kind of connect with those participants that are going through the program, and ping somebody and say, hey, can I have like 5 minutes of somebody's time just to review this really quick. So definitely kind of lean into the various avenues that you have for kind of getting different perspectives or feedback. We're going to answer one last quick question. Somebody wanted to know if the on-demand is helpful for somebody who's just trying to figure out whether an MBA is the right path, or if it's geared for somebody who's already fully decided that that's what they want to pursue. What would y'all say?
I think yes, because as I mentioned at the beginning, there are some of the videos that will actually focus on your purpose, like what do you want? And to be really honest with yourself, that I think that is very difficult, but when you have someone guiding you through that, it's more easy, and it helps you to understand if actually the MBA makes sense and which school, because each school has different ways of teaching, and each of them has a different network, a different purpose. So it will help you to make sense before you commit to an MBA, because it's a big investment of your time, of your money, of your career. So for me, it's a yes. I don't know the other girls can leverage on that, but yeah, like if you want to be certain that that's the path, yes.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And you know what? This is what I like to tell somebody. Paying a $500 enrollment fee and figuring out maybe I don't want an MBA, I want to do this path, is a whole lot more financially sound than getting into an MBA program and the fee that comes with that, the time and the the fee that goes with that.
Yeah, sometimes what can happen is that people get enrolled into the MBA, and then we're here, they are like, maybe this was not the best choice because I already know a lot of this, like I can get to the things that I want without this, or they are not, they are just doing it because of the diploma or and they realize that maybe they chose the wrong school and it's not aligned even in geography or whatever goal that you have, that you see that there's not a match. Sometimes that can happen. So I think if you can do a less expensive investment before the MBA, is totally worth it. Like MBA is, it's not just the tuition, it's the tuition, moving, your lifestyle there. Then you have the MBA treks. So it's a whole experience, and it's a very intense experience. So you have to think really good if it matches with what you want, and if also you want to go through it.
Great. I love that. Yes, for sure. MBA Launch On Demand is to help you just figure out Even if you're just like, do I want this? Is this what I want? It's a great program to help you self-reflect on what you want and what you want for your career or what you want for your future. Okay, I can't believe there's like 6 minutes left. How has time gone by so fast? We're gonna do one quick rapid fire last bit of advice for anybody who is attending today. So what final bit of advice would you have for somebody who's looking to pursue an MBA?
Okay, maybe I'll get started. I think my biggest advice would be don't sell yourself short. I think we are our biggest critics, and I truly believe that you miss every shot that you do not take. I think if when I looked at my own profile, I really thought there was a certain category of schools that I could not get into, and you will not believe what all you can achieve because you're unique. And the best thing about the MBA application process is that they're looking at you as an individual and you're not just a score or a resume or a title or whatever. So I think just do the best you can and shoot your shot.
And what I can say is ask questions if you're even hesitating a little bit, ask questions, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to start. You can collect a million resources, but until you click that button and say create profile, you're not doing anything. And I would say create profiles at the schools you want. They'll start sending you emails with all the resources you may need even before you start. And have a plan. Once you know that the MBA is the program you want to go to, have a plan, like, what schools match with your profile, who can you connect with to learn more, what stages do you need to be at what time, and how do you then bring that into your current lifestyle to like match up the schedule.
I will have to say, just be honest with yourself and what you want, no matter how big it is. Like, just it's like a fresh start if you choose to do it. That's why MBA is for. Like, if you want to change your sector, your country, or whatever, use that. It's a very good tool to have for you to go for your dreams, not only professional, also personals. Like, where do you want to live? What do you want to achieve? What impact do you want to have in your life, on everyone's life? So dream big. Like, there's no limit for that, and be true to what you want, and then you will see how that all aligns with the MBAs and the city and the school that you choose. Like, it all unfolds since you are honest with yourself.
I love that. Such great advice. Shoot your shot. Who is it? You miss every shot you don't take. It was the Office reference, Michael Scott, but it was really Wayne Gretzky, right? So definitely, if you are looking to apply to an MBA program, and you just need some help, or you just need somebody to help you connect the dots, if you're looking to put in your best application and you're wanting to do it on your own time and have more flexibility, well, MBA Launch might be the program for you. So definitely look into our program, see if it's something that would work for you. We would love to help you in this process. I want to thank our amazing panel of women. Such great sound advice. Wishing you the best. Ayushi and Leah, as you start school this fall, how exciting. Jocelyn, congratulations on your recent graduation from HSE. We look forward to the bright future that all three of you have. And audience, thank you so much for investing in yourself and carving out this hour to spend with us and to learn about the MBA Launch program and what it can do for you. Enjoy the